Hello, beautiful souls watching. Thank you. I'm Gabrielle, retired medium from Germany, and I like to share some of my otherworldly experiences and insights. This one is about grief and loss. Many people have lost somebody, and we in the Western world are trained to mourn the loss, to look into the grave, look down. We all dress black. And I tell you a story what I experienced when I was in India in the 80s at the age of mid-20 on search for the purpose of my life, on my quest. I traveled through India and visited the famous town of Varanasi. Today it's called Benares. And it's the town, a holy town, I think, at the river Ganges, where they burn their deads. And I've been there very early in the morning at the Ghats and was looking how they were burning the dead bodies of the deceased ones. And there was a fire here and a fire there, and I heard a skull crack and plop in the heat of the fire, and suddenly a bone moved up in another fire because of the heat. And to my left side there was a woman coming with a baby, and the babies are not burnt as I was told. It was just wrapped in some kind of linen cloth, and she put it into the river. And I think in the 80s there were still the special Indian crocodiles living at the river. And I saw that the bundle with the baby wrapped in cloth was more or less eaten by a crocodile. And behind me there was a building, and there was noise and music and laughter like they are partying. There was a big feast. And with all the skulls and plopping sounds and the fire around me, the scene with the baby that was eaten by the crocodile and the feast behind me, I thought, because I always had the fear of being crazy, because I was the weird one, I was the crazy one in my family. When I said something without knowing, and it was already coming from the psychic senses, my mother used to say, "Oh, you're crazy, you're inventing that, or you're lying." And so I learned to not talk about that with other people that much, at least not with the ones who can't understand, because they're not yet open for that and they have a different point of view. So I thought, if I don't go crazy now with all this madness around me, I will never go crazy. And that proved to be true, because later in my mediumship I found out that all my perceptions were more or less true. I only perceive differently, like other people who don't use their psychic senses. And an Indian man passed by me, and I asked him, "What's that feast? What are they partying?" And he looked at me with big eyes as if in astonishment, and he said, "Well, they're feasting that the soul is free." And that struck me. Boy, we're so trained in the West to look at death so differently. And they were feasting that the soul is free from the body. Wow. So this in the forefront, just to give you a different perspective on death. We are very much trained in the Western world that death is the end, and so we start grieving. And if you lost somebody, maybe very early or unexpected, it's even harder for you to handle grief. What happens when we are in grief is that we feel heavy feelings, the loss, we miss the people. We think we can't talk to them, we think we can't touch them and embrace them anymore. So this never again is some kind of thought that brings you even more down into deep and heavy feelings. So you wrap yourself around with dark, heavy energy clouds. And that's why some of our deceased loved ones cannot reach us, although they are right beside us, because they can't reach through this dense, heavy energy of grief and sorrow. I know we need to work through the grief, and it's got special points, like first you start denial and you don't want to accept it. That's normal. Then maybe you get angry. That's step 2. Why did she left me alone right now? Why did she had to go that early? Something like that. Or you still have something to solve with that person and you couldn't do it while the person was alive, and you think now it's over and you have no more chance. False. You have every chance to reach your loved ones. I like to share a very simple method with just little effort of your side, and you can do it for yourself. You don't need a medium, and it's really helpful. I recommend it sometimes to some of my clients. So when you keep the last picture of a person you loved and that deceased, and it's from the hospital or at home where the person was already diminishing and getting less and less, looking maybe weird or old or with less life force. So you have a picture that's not the true person or the true soul you loved. You have the last picture in a row of pictures that formed the life story of that person. Don't stick with the last horrible picture, because that will always draw you to these heavy feelings like loss or anger or denial or whatever. Remember, you can research the 4 stages of grief and you will find a lot of interesting information there. So exchange that picture consciously, maybe even by searching for a picture from that person's life where he or she was happy and healthy and everything was fine. A picture that radiates the true essence, love, and energy of that person. You don't love the body, you love the soul, you love the inner person. And that is still there because energy is unstoppable, unkillable. There's this saying, you have an immortal divine soul. So I like to ask you that question. What part of this saying? You are an immortal soul. What about an immortal soul? Did you not understand? We are very much fixated onto this 3-dimensional reality, the body, and we very often forget about the soul and our subtle etheric bodies. So know, whether you feel it or not, that the deceased ones, in their energy, their life essence, the real them they were, their soul, however we want to name it, we put names on everything, but it's just the trial of description. So the soul is immortal, and our deceased ones, they visit us very often. They are with us, they watch over us, they know about what's happening in our life, what will come, and if there's a birthday or some kind of family feast, they are all there because they still care about us. They love us. We are bound by the bonds of love. That's why we incarnate together in families. Sometimes in the family you have someone who doesn't fit well in, like I did, and that's also some kind of soul contract because you are there to learn and to grow. So back to the point, I'm digressing, sorry. Make a little ritual. Put a photo of that person when she was fine and happy. maybe onto your table and lit a candle. That's a little ritualic doing that will help you because you are doing some actions. And it also makes a nice atmosphere and brings some calmness to address to the deceased one. Then take a piece of paper, and if you didn't have the chance, whatever reason, to say really inside from yourself goodbye to your deceased loved one, you can do it anytime. Just write a letter here and now and express everything that you want to say to that loved one. Even the anger, don't control yourself. Everything is allowed to come out. Truth prevails, and truth makes you free. So if there is some unresolved issue, anything, or just the missing your feelings, that you miss the one so much, express it, write it down. Do play as if the person is there, and now you're telling everything, you're writing this letter. Be prepared to sob and cry. That's very good, because in the ancient traditions, water was always the symbol for emotion and the soul. So if you're crying and sobbing, your inner waters are moved, and that's some kind of cathartic release. You can get rid of all that you kept inside maybe for so long, or what you couldn't tell that person when she still was alive. So you can make this moment your conscious moment of saying goodbye to what was, and the soul will receive it. And the sobbing will help you. So I'm just recommending, do this goodbye letter for yourself. Take some handkerchiefs close to you and be prepared to sob, but know that sobbing and crying is very good, and it's cleansing and purification. So give it a try if you feel touched by this. That's what I can recommend, and you really should take care that you don't stick with horrible pictures or horrible memories. That's why you release all this in a letter, to become free of it and to start anew and fresh, and know that the soul will receive and will get everything that you wrote down. And after you wrote it down, I recommend that you very ritually burn this paper to release the energy, really in this action, to the elements, to nature. And you can throw the ash into your garden or into a small river or anywhere in nature from this piece of paper. And you might use this idea as a tool of a delivery system. Water to put in the ash of your goodbye letter is also very good. You can even use the water in your home, in the bathtub or wherever. It doesn't matter, even if it's the toilet, water is water. And since Emoto, the great Japanese man, told us about water and how it keeps memory and how you can structure water by saying positive things to it. He made this very clear with his photographs. If you have a glass of water and you say to the water, "Thank you, I love you, thank you for healing me, thank you for giving me everything that I need right now." So these words are energy, and the sound will impregnate some kind of impression to the water, and the water will carry that energy and the memory. So better bless your water that you drink. And if you give away this goodbye letter to the water, that's the optimum, because water is everywhere. We are built the same manner like the earth is built. We have water, earth, air, and fire inside of us, all the four round basic elements. So water is very good. This is what I wanted to share, and I hope you will find something in it that helps you along your way. And be assured, they are not gone. They are with us. Only they vibrate with their soul in the fourth dimension in a higher vibration, and usually you can't perceive them with your 3D eyes, but you very often can feel them. And I saw so many people on graveyards standing in front of the stone of a loved one, and I saw their lips moving. You intuitively do that. You still talk to them in your mind or even loud, and they get everything because they are so close, just in another slightly higher vibration. So no, we are not alone, and they are never gone. Energy can only be transfigured or transmuted and changed, but it cannot be dissolved or killed. So the soul is energy. The souls of your loved ones are still with you, and they love you, and they watch over you, and they take care of you and everything that happens in your life. They are with you. Okay, hopefully this helps. Many blessings, dear beautiful souls. I wish you all the best. Love and light. Bye.